But I feel like if you match them both together, who's better? I think it's clearly Lupe Fiasco. I think he's one of the best MCs to ever rap. Slicks, let's go with you. What Slick Vic? What say you about a Lil Wayne Lupe Fiasco matchup?
What I say is, are you serious? And when I say that, I'm saying that to the very notion of this even being a conversation. Are you serious? To the podcast, to the show, are you serious? I say, are you serious? To myself, and even attempting to have an intellectual discussion about this conversation topic, to myself for even being here, I say, are you serious? Slick Vic Low, are you serious? I don't even know how to approach it in a manner that is serious.
Wheezy F baby, please don't forget the baby. Doesn't match up at all with Lupe Fiasco at all.
See, now I don't even know how
I'm gonna hear you out. I'm trying to hear you out.
I don't even know how to approach this discussion without constantly having to do Jean-Luc Picard face palms. Because
Star Trek reference.
Not serious. It can't be serious. This is the problem. Okay, this is the issue. This is what happens when the culture begins to get poisoned by the itis of mediocre becoming the new dope.
Oh.
And I think that when those Carter albums were coming out, that was very much, you could say, the beginning of that trend becoming an infestation, a pandemic of mediocre being recognized as being
mediocre proportions.
The mediocre proportions, mediocre rise of mediocreness, because those records, those mixtapes, those Carter ones and twos and whatnot, they were good efforts. They were solid efforts in terms of music, in terms of rap music, in terms of base level. This is decent hip hop that people can digest without trying really hard. But what happened was people were saying, this is the greatest thing ever. This is the next life after death. This is the next Ready to Die. The Carter is the same as Reasonable Doubt and Illmatic. And to you, hip hop culture, to you, I say, are you serious? Are you serious?
Man,
and Joshua Swan. 1 second, but let's hold it right there. You said enough. I'll let you go on Lupe in a second. Joshua Swan, what did you say to Lupe versus Lil Wayne? And who was the best rapper, the best MC in the world from that time period where they both were coming out and developing and evolving as MCs in the mid to late 2000s?
Well, I'm gonna say this: Lil Wayne had a good run. I mean, the Carter 1 and the Carter 2 were good albums, and I feel like that was lit. I felt like Lil Wayne was lyrically at his peak during those times.
Okay.
But it's not even close, man. It's not even a fair fight. Like, Lupe is lyrically, like, I would say, one of the greatest of all time. And like it was like when he came into the game, it was kind of like a breath of fresh air.
I agree.
Breath of fresh air. And like Food and Liquor, I wasn't really on the Lupe when he first came out, but like my mans put me on the Lupe, and once I heard like the Cool and a couple of mixtapes, that made me want to go revise Food and Liquor. And I'm like, yo, this nigga is really nice, and I'm like, he is like on a totally different lyrical atmosphere. Yeah, it's different.
I backflipped off the mattress they slept on me on. Lupe was, when I heard a mixtape, a friend of mine, Eli Jackson, when I was in junior college. It took me like 3 years to get a 2-year degree. It's a Kareem Ali a while. Listen. He put me onto a mixtape. It had Muhammad Walks on here. He was talking about Lupe with this. Like, who is this guy with this? What are you talking about? And I'm listening to him. And then when Food and Liquor came out, I swear I bumped it for like a year straight to the point that it was scratched. I mean, almost every track on there, I was just blown away by. And then, I mean, the song where he dug himself out of the grave and went back to the block that he first got shot on, where he used to sell drugs as a zombie. I mean, the level of storytelling and lyrical craftsmanship not only was a breath of fresh air, it really breathed life. It literally breathed life into the art form and the culture, and let you know that as MCs coming up, that you can be lyrical and be dope and make great music and impact and influence people. Vic, what do you say about Lupe Fiasco?
For any of those songs you just mentioned, I dare you play any of those and then play a million. And
oh god,
he dared us.
It's akin to like going to a fine restaurant and then right after going across the street to like a knockoff version of Burger King.
God damn. Not a
and
knockoff.
being like,
that's
like it's not even the same stratosphere. Like, look at the ingenious song construction and lyricism and conceptualization that happened on some of those Lupe joints. Like, I remember when, I mean, this kind of answers the question of like, who's better? Like, I remember when Kick Push first came out, and then Sway interviewed Lupe on like a segment that would come on. It was almost like a commercial, but not a commercial. It would come on like VH1 Soul or something like that. And in the interview, Lupe was like, well, you know, being from Chicago, and like it's kind of like you're literally in the middle of everything. So growing up and listening to hip hop from different regions and those influence kind of shaping your own style. He's like, in Chicago, we kind of become like super rappers. But in truth, that statement really applied primarily only to Lupe at the time, because he was the one who could do the double time flow, the twister Midwest Chicago type speed up stuff, like on the Go-Go Gadget joint. He who could do the intricate storytelling that had its roots in some of the Ice Cube and West Coast kind of styles, to do the interesting conceptualizations of like a nerdy kid who grew up reading comic books and watching anime, and the heavy Japanese influence that he had personally, who had then the East Coast sensibilities of the beats he was rapping on, and like the way he constructed his bars, his word choices, you know, the economy of vocabulary he went with was very akin to East Coast type stylings. And so these multiple influences, and then you season that in with his spiritual background as someone who grew up Muslim, and the spiritual topics he got into, the conceptualizations of spiritual warfare he was touching on, even like the really small genius techniques he employed on songs like He Say, She Say, where he did the same verse twice by changing the adjective, change the perspective, like all that I just said. And then now someone please tell me about your genius analytical breakdown of how Lil Wayne is some sort of literary genius. Are you serious?
Well, Lil Wayne is tougher than Nigerian hair.
What did he say on Call the 3 Day?
He moves in silence. Like G and lasagna. That's not even accurate.
I'm doing this again like nigga backwards. That made no sense.
Nice spell word.
Well,
don't get me wrong.
What I've always said about Lil Wayne, before you say that,
Lil Wayne is the worst. I'm not saying he's the worst, but
he's yeah.
I give him his props, but I don't even think he was better than Pusha T. If you want to be real.
I mean, to me, Lil Wayne, it's a good thing nigga rhymes with nigga. He might have a problem. I know.
He's not in the top 50 of all. To put him in the top 50 of all time is a disrespect.
For me, because of his status and what he's done, I would give him number 50.
Yeah, I would say the same thing.
I would come in at 50.
I would struggle. I would drastically struggle to squeeze him into the top 100.
Just as lyricists and MCs, I wouldn't say that, but overall, as what he's done as a hip hop artist, I would say that he's
integrate and dumb down the youth. That's what he's done as a hip hop artist.
Well, it's a lot of people that we could talk about.
I can't even. he influenced this generation, but like
that's unfortunate because they don't have the proper MC fundamentals because of following someone like Lil Wayne.
A lot of them drool while they're talking and think it's a style, and they mumble their words when they rap. And Lil Wayne wasn't inventing mumble rap; he was on Surf.
And I don't think he has a classic album either. I don't think The Carter 3 was a classic at all.
I mean, a lot of the credit for why it gets labeled.
It's like winning a championship in the bubble. It's like,
oh wow. Okay, we're not gonna go there. But
nah.
The production has more to do with that reputation for those records than anything else.
He doesn't have any versatility in terms of his subject matter. All he can really talk about is like, braggadocio style bars. Is talking about pussy, my dick.
Remember the Carter song with him and Jay on it? Remember how lopsided that was?
Yeah.
And people, Wayne had the best verse. It was like Carl Lewis running against like the Running Man.
I don't understand how you have 3 verses with Jay-Z and he still outshines you. And he wasn't really even trying at all.
He was supposed to be the new Jay-Z. That's what he thought he was, the Carter. Yeah, Lil Wayne is just like, a lot of these people aren't as talented as a lot of people perceive them to be, even though they're
let's take it back some. Do you remember when he first premiered with the Hot Boys?
I do.
He was by far the weakest link in a crew that consisted of Juvenile, C Murder, and who was the other guy? Turk. He was better than Turk, I guess.
Yeah, the kid 16. Let's give him a little. Well, then again,
man.
I know what you're gonna say, Vic.
His first album showed promise, but that promise did not become anything even near elite. It was always average, and at its best, it was interesting.
He could only really rap one way the entire time, but he had a very unique delivery style that carried him. It's not what you say; it's how you say it sometimes. But
the most damning piece of this, though, is that most of these verses he didn't write.
That's if he didn't write them, then I really can't put you up there. I take it back. He can't be in the top 50. I guess he can as an artist, but as an MC, he's nowhere near. It's not even close to Lupe Fiasco.
If that's the case, Dr. Dre's better than as a rapper.
I've liked some of Dr. Dre's verses much better than Lil Wayne's verses.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Oh wow! Dang.
Some of those were written by Jay-Z.
And definitely prefer Kanye over Wayne
absolutely.
for sure.
Kanye as a rapper.
And then